Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Career Resources webinar. My name is Chris Miller. I am the Career Counselor for the WSU Global Campus. We'll start off with just a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions during the webinar, you go ahead and enter those in the chat box, and I will get to those at the end. And I think that's the most important part to share with you right now. So I think we can go ahead and get started. I'll talk a little bit more about what we're going to cover tonight and um, some of my thoughts on these resources. So yeah, I always start off my webinars, if you've ever been to one, with just this little snapshot at the career development process. And even with this topic of just general resources that are available to you, I just kind of like to highlight this quickly. And since it's still, we're only really like a month into the semester, this is usually a nice topic for that time of year, as even with online students, it's still kind of a starting point of the academic season. So with all the work that I do and with these webinars, I am usually working within this career development process. And depending on where people are at, they might be just trying to figure out what kind of career would be a good fit for them based on knowing themselves in that yellow section. Maybe they already know themselves and they're just exploring options. Maybe they're actually setting goals, getting focused, that blue part, and taking action. And so, I help students along, all parts of this career development process. This, you don't necessarily have to start at one point. It's not something that's forward only. You might go forward and backward. It just depends on where you're at in your own career development process. And one of the things I do is also help kind of assess and establish where you might be at. So again, tonight, just talking about the resources that are available to you as a WSU Global Campus student. And we'll go ahead and get started. So to give you an idea of what career counselors do, if you've never worked with one before, they help students with different types of career assessment. I'm going to highlight what I find to be the most valuable one tonight, the strong interest inventory. There are also different types that assess your skills, what you're good at, your work values, so what's important to you in a job, and also your work personality and preferences, so kind of how you communicate with other people, how you draw energy for things. There are different types of assessments for that as well. Academic major selection, I work with current students and prospective students. And so for perspectives, it's mostly just seeing what they're interested in pursuing academically from a career perspective. Job search strategies for the student who's ready to start their job search. Helping with networking, reviewing resumes, doing interviews, helping people prepare for interviews, researching graduate school and that information, and then also other resource referral. And that's kind of what we're really diving into tonight, is just letting you know about all these resources that are available to you that can help you with your career development. University 301 is one of those options you have as a student. It is a one credit class that's offered online every semester, and I facilitate this course. The purpose of this is kind of to slowly work through that career development process that I showed you at the beginning. So you start by doing 4 different types of career assessment, and from those results you will research opportunities based on, again, those results and also your academic major and your work experience. You would go through a section that has to do with career decision making and networking and interviewing and resumes. And then at the very end, there would be a mock job application that you would submit. And so that is, again, a course that's offered every semester, University 301. And this is where we get into the part of the webinar where I'm really going to start sharing my application here, my desktop, and showing you some of these resources in a little bit of depth, not a ton, but just so you kind of are aware of what these resources are, and also what you can do with these resources. So Handshake is our job and internship listing board for the entire university system, and it is an excellent resource for both campus-based students and online students. And we switched over to Handshake a year ago, and it has kind of more of a format that you'll recognize as more of a social media friendly type format, something that kind of blends well with LinkedIn and is friendlier on a mobile format. And it's where employers post jobs and internships, and also information sessions and events, career events for WSU students. As an online student, you're not going to be able to attend all of those, but there are going to be options for you to attend things online, and I'm going to show you where that is. Like it says there, post your resume, check out events, and also jobs and internships. And then I'll also show off just the Center for Civic Engagement website for those people looking at kind of, either looking for volunteer opportunities just for their own personal enrichment or also for their career development. There's a whole section for the Center for Civic Engagement that's dedicated to online students interested in volunteering opportunities, and they refer to those online students as CyberCougs. So I'll show you kind of where to get started there. The best place to find Handshake is at the ascc.wsu.edu website. So this is the Academic Success and Career Center. This is kind of the main lower division undergraduate advising, academic advising, and also career center for the entire Pullman University. But this is, as an online student, this is a great website and resource to familiarize yourself with, as there are a lot of resources that will be helpful to you or for you as an online student. So on the left menu there under Career Services, there's the drop-down menu, and you can find Handshake right there. And this is what the main page looks like, where you will sign in with your WSU NetID to kind of get started. And unfortunately with Handshake, I'll go into my account. Unfortunately, I can't get a student view to show you exactly what it's going to look like for you. And so there are some sections I can't really go into just because of sensitive employer information. So just to give you an idea on this left of what it looks like, and also like how to navigate what you will be able to see. What I wanted to highlight were the events, the fairs section, and the jobs. And so starting with the event scheduling section, you can see all these different events that are taking place both on campus and online. And so you can see what kind, if it's an information session, it's a workshop, if it's an employer on-site visit. So this is where you would find information for, these on-site visits are usually pretty convenient for online students, since we have a lot of students in Western Washington. A lot of these on-site visits are in this greater Puget Sound area, also in Spokane. And so this is where you can check those out. I'm just going to check out these virtual sessions right now to give you an idea of what there is. Last week we had an investment conference, competition and conference, virtual sessions, an IBM one, data engineers. So for any online data analytics majors, there's an online virtual session coming up here this week. And looks like data analytics, UPS information spotlight coming up October 10th. And so those are some things to look forward to whenever you're just interested in seeing what kind of career events are available online, scheduled through this entire large employer and WSU system. To see what kind of just larger events are happening. So next week, a week from today, is the big career fair for the university. It happens in the fall and the spring semester, but I would say the fall tends to be the larger one. So I know there are over 200 employers registered right now, and it is happening in Pullman. And we do have students that are online students who make the trek over for it, as it can be a valuable resource to meet face to face with that that variety of employers. You can find all the information about the employers that are registered on Handshake and information about who they're recruiting. And a lot of these employers are recruiting all majors. So any of our online interdisciplinary majors, social sciences students or humanities students, there are plenty of employers there who are hiring them. And so you would have to go into Handshake yourself to check that out. Like I said before, about some of the employer information, but then also the jobs, just to get an idea of what this job posting board and internships. So this is where internships are posted to. I occasionally will have internship announcements come my way that aren't posted. So if you're ever interested in any specific area, you should check here, but also check with me too. And you can see that. So the job type, full job versus internship, full-time versus part-time. If there's an interview scheduled on campus, and in the past we've also had online students kind of request to have a virtual interview, and some employers will accommodate that. So if you see an employer is on campus interviewing, you should still consider submitting an application to see if they are willing to interview you virtually. And so you can see all these different types. You can search through, majors, academic majors, major groups. There's a drop-down menu to see how many jobs. Through all these different things you can search through. I'll just click on the all options so you can see. There's just a little scroll bar here, show you the different academic areas. So even for all of our online areas, there should be, there will definitely be employers who are recruiting all majors and posting jobs and internships for all majors. So employment type, like I said, full-time versus part-time, and you can also look for job locations based on where you are or where you would like to work. So that is Handshake, and I'll just quickly jump over to the Center for Civic Engagement, cce.wsu.edu, and under the students tab here on the drop-down menu, I would highlight CyberCougs for global campus students. And you can get, this is something you would want to spend more time with. I'm not going to highlight it too much since it is volunteer work, but volunteer work can obviously play a role in, developing your work experience, and especially if you're a career changer looking to go in an area relevant to something you would have volunteer work in. And this is a great option for online students as well. They will help you find opportunities in your geographical area. Online career events, things like this that we're doing right now. And like it says, I do my webinars the last several years through Global Connections, and that's likely how you found out about this event. And so Global Connections is, of course, bringing on-campus opportunities to online students, and we try to offer a variety of different things that are relevant to students, and my part being the career piece, but there are other career presenters that we have that do Global Connections events. And I just wanted to highlight also the video vaults. So whenever we have something like this that we record, we will post it in the video vault at a later time, so you can go back and see different topics that you're interested in checking out. I think I'll jump over there too when I share my screen. The Career Guide blog is the blog that I maintain, and I try to share some of those internship opportunities that come my way that I know are more relevant for WSU for global campus students. And I showed you already in Handshake where you can find those virtual events. And I also want to talk about the Alumni Association for WSU. We'll also have a bunch of career events that you can attend as a student. You don't need to be an Alumni Association member yet. You don't need to have graduated yet for some of them. For some of them, I believe you do have to be an Alumni Association member. As a student, you can join the Alumni Association, and I believe it's only $20. And that'll give you access to a bunch of different things too. So I'll show some of those to you now. Here's the video vault I was talking about that you can get to through the Global Connections site, which is connections.wsu.edu. But under these video categories menu here on the left, you'll see those different topics that Global Connections addresses that try to make more of an enriched experience for you as a WSU student. So under the career development is where you'll find some of the things that I've done and then other people have done. And so you can check out those different recorded videos right there. And then also, what was the next piece here? So just so you know where you can, that's right, to get to the blog also, where you can find, the best way to connect with me as a WSU Global Campus student or as a prospective student is through the online.wsu.edu website. I'll just go to the home page there so it's easier to find from the starting point. In these quick links right here, there's the career services section, and that's where I am. That's me right there. And the drop-down menu here has some of those topics I talked about that are kind of common career counseling topics. But this is also, I'd say, the easiest way to find the blog. So you can click on the blog link there. And this is what it looks like. And you can just, if you want to get the updates every time I post, I try to do it every week, especially during the regular school season. And right now, the top thing is what's happening right now. But to give you an idea of other events, online career fairs. So, most people aren't able to go to Pullman or to maybe WSU Vancouver or Tri-Cities to attend a career fair. So I try to post information about online career fairs and online education fairs that would be relevant for WSU students. So here's one from last week, Online Public Health Education Fair, and one from about a month ago, Disney Internships and College Program. So anytime there's something relevant. So for the next, I'd say, couple of months, there's going to be a lot of online education fairs, online career fairs, and some of those employer sessions, and specific internships as well. All right, this is the Alumni Association homepage, so alumni.wsu.edu. So first I wanted to highlight just the event section right here, events, event calendar, and this is going to have, quite a variety of different events. These aren't all going to be career resources, but they do post their career resources here. So there's going to be football things right now, viewing parties, but I'll scroll down until we get to a career one because I know there's one coming up soon. October 16th, right here, the Burton Shaw Online Hospitality Career Night. So that's an online event for our, hospitality majors, or not necessarily even that. It could be business majors or maybe social sciences majors who are interested in the hospitality business. So you can find information there, and that's definitely one of those things that I will share on the blog once we get closer. I just mentioned, I want to just make sure I didn't miss anything there. Okay, that looks good. Career assessments. Okay, this is a piece that for most students that I work with, I do have them start with a career assessment, because really with most people that I've worked with, they either have never taken one or they haven't taken one in a long, long time. And so I'm going to highlight the strong interest inventory, but I have people start with the free career assessment that is kind of a boiled down version of that. And there's also the Myers-Briggs, the MBTI, that's available for students. That's one that if students want to take it, I usually recommend that they do that in conjunction with a strong, just because in terms of career exploration, so if you're interested in assessing your skills and interests to see what jobs might be a good fit for you, the strong interest inventory is a great tool. The Myers-Briggs, the research has shown, is not necessarily a great tool for that. For team building exercises, it's excellent. In conjunction with an interest assessment, it's excellent. But on its own, it's not a great tool for career exploration. And then I also wanted to highlight the Focus 2 more comprehensive assessment for WSU students. It's also a free resource. And that one's kind of, the idea is a foot deep and a mile wide. So they're just trying to touch on kind of briefly some of those different assessment areas. like I said earlier, skills, interests, values, and work personality. But it's a great thing to check out. It's free resource for students. But after I have students do the free one, and if it's a meaningful exercise for them, I highly recommend the Strong Interest Inventory, $15 for students and alumni members. And I'll go ahead and show you a sample of that right now too, and where you can find it. So we're going to jump back to the ascc.wsu.edu website. Again, this is the Academic Success and Career Center website. So again, under that Career Services drop-down, Career Coaching and Assessments is where you'll kind of find information about these things. So Career Assessment. It says right here, Strong Interest Inventory and Myers-Briggs, and they have samples for both. And Focus 2, this is where you would access the Focus 2 free one that I mentioned that's more comprehensive. For the free one that I have students do, that's just something I will send to you after you request career services, which is also, I should jump back to this career support page is where you do that, where you do request career service help from me. So get career advice here on the top. Does it say it also in the drop down? Okay, it does just there. Get career advice, career counseling session with me. That's where you find that. Okay. Back here. Okay. Oh, I thought I had this up already. So I'm going to do a new tab here. There we go. So this is what the Strong Interest Inventory report looks like. Jane sample. So this is just a nice little sample to give you an idea of what you can gain from this career assessment. It'll help you, according to this list here, achieve satisfaction in your work, identify career options consistent with your interests, that's for sure, appropriate education and training relevant, that's for sure, maintain balance between work and leisure to a lesser extent, determine more preferred learning environments, sure, use interest in shaping your career direction, deciding on a focus, and things like that. So I'm not going to get too in the weeds with what all these different sections are. If you do this assessment, it's something you do online on your own, and then the results are sent to me, and I record an evaluation of it for you and kind of break it down in greater detail. But you'll get a code. As a sample, this person's only getting a 2-letter code, but you'll likely get a 3-letter code. And I would explain to you what all these different theme areas mean, why they are organized in a specific way, what the standard scores mean. And this is something you're not going to get from the free one, whereas you have these different interest areas: social, artistic, so these are social jobs, artistic jobs, enterprising, conventional, investigative, and realistic. And so even with this person having very little in this realistic area, let's do enterprising, because as a sample, it's harder to kind of generate what these real results would look like. So under enterprising here, where there's little interest, so entrepreneurship, law, sales, marketing, and advertising for this person would have little or very little interest in all these areas. But politics and public speaking is still, based on the standard score, coming in very high. So this is something you would absolutely not get with one of the free ones. That wouldn't even be something for you to consider based on those assessment results. Of course, you can consider it anyway on your own. But in terms of generating ideas and options, this is such an excellent resource. And then it'll have top 10 occupations based on these occupational scales, areas of dissimilar interest, because the nice thing about this assessment is it takes interests and disinterests into account, and that it's a gender norm test. So however you identify as a man or woman, it would say that you either have similar results based on your scores with women who enjoy doing that kind of work. So that's kind of how this assessment is built. It's, surveying everyone with a certain level of career satisfaction. They find out, why they're satisfied in order to have them count for this assessment. And then if you have a similar interest or disinterest pattern as someone who's doing that type of work, the suggestion is you might also enjoy doing that type of work. But you can see all these different occupational titles or clusters that it's broken down into. I'll just do one for example under artistic. Librarian, PR director, English teacher, broadcast journalist, advertising account manager, translator, reporter, attorney, and so on and so forth. Where the scale's broken down all the way down. Personal style scales. This is where it kind of tries to take on a little bit of an MBTI flair also. Most people only have one or two that they clearly prefer. This is more in the weeds too. It's not really a point of emphasis for the strong. There's a profile summary, and then it also suggests, next steps and also academic areas that would be relevant to you based on your interests. So that's a look at the strong interest inventory. One of my favorite tools as a career counselor for someone in a starting point. And some other helpful resources for you as a global campus student. I showed you the career support website and how you can contact me to get the ball rolling with any of those areas that you're interested in exploring or pursuing. The Cougar Business Network and the speaker series is another thing I wanted to highlight. This is the other part of the Alumni Association tools. And then also some more of those ASCC resources, which is where we found Handshake and also the sample for the strong interest inventory. And under there, I'm going to talk about the resume coloring book, the information packets, and also some more helpful links for you and your career development. Here we go. Cougar Business Network, cbn.wsu.edu. And this is a nice little tool that alumni, when alumni want to volunteer their contact information for WSU students and alumni members, for them to kind of facilitate the idea of Cougars doing business with Cougars. And so these are Cougar owned or managed businesses that are listed, and this is a great networking resource for WSU Global Campus students. So I'll just show you how to do a quick search here. So search CBN, and you can search by kind of this business category, search by state, or enter keywords. So for areas relevant to online students, we have accounting majors. I'll just do Washington. Most of this is going to be in the Western U.S. But even if there's not someone who's directly in your neck of the woods, it's still a great starting point for networking. So there's 6 of them listed: Seattle, Kennewick, Spokane, Vancouver, and then Marysville, Everett, Bellevue area. Let's do another search for another academic area or business area. What would be relevant for our students? There's business development. Let's do any state, just to keep it simple. 24 results here. Again, mostly in Washington, Idaho, California, Arizona. Do another just quick search for something in more of the liberal arts area here. Social sciences. Let's see. Let's go with what looks good. How about nonprofit? And 5 results, all in Washington. So, just to give you an idea, there's, this isn't going to have a ton of connections, but with networking, the idea is just to start with one point, and hopefully that webs out where that person can refer you to someone else, or several other options. So it's a great networking resource, the Cougar Business Network. The other one I wanted to recommend, and can you find it through this, I wonder? Probably not. No, it takes you back to that alumni page. And this one's kind of buried, and so it's not easy to find. It's alumni, so it also has kind of a longer URL here. alumnicareerservices.org/WSU is the easiest way to find it. And just to give you an idea of what this is, these are more online career events for you to take a look at to see if any of these are interesting to you. So speaker series that they have here, and these aren't all going to be relevant for where you are at your stage of the career development process. Some of this will be more for people who are retiring, But there's great stuff here. So LinkedIn for the savvy exec. So there's a LinkedIn speaker. How to stay in love with your entrepreneurship. Winning customers away from your competition. Here's a retirement one. So there's all these different career topics. Badass your brand and get recognized for your next job. So there's a personal branding one. So there's all these different topics. And so these are all, let's see, when is this first one? So just coming up next week. And then that last one was in November. So it's all for this, it's semester relevant for these online presentations that you can check out also. This is going to be the same thing, I believe, and that's probably also, yep, same thing. This is probably where you register. This is, as you can probably tell, a tool I don't use very often. It's buried, but it's something that you can use as a student. And this takes you back to that alumni page. Okay, great. And then I also wanted to show off these, the resume coloring book. That's right. That's my next step here. So again, at the ascc.wsu.edu under Career Services, let's go down to Resumes and Cover Letters on the drop-down menu. And this is the easiest way to find the resume coloring book. And if it's your first time using it, it's something you'll have to register for with your WSU network ID. And the resume coloring book is a very helpful resource, but it's kind of off-putting for some people because of the name, myself included originally, and some of the experiences within it you might find seem to be more tailored to a traditional student who might have no work experience. But if you actually look at the resources that are there, it's really for anyone with any amount of work experience. And so let me go ahead and show you kind of what the resume coloring book looks like now. So once you are able to sign up and sign in, this is what the home page will look like. And if you go through the whole thing, there's all these different video modules you can go through. It would take an hour, I think, to watch all, maybe an hour and a half to watch all these video modules. I've done it. I find them all helpful in guiding the process from start to finish, but you definitely don't need to do that. You can pick and choose what you're trying to work on with your resume. So starting here is the home page. There's these little text blocks, these crimson ones here on the right side, and this like flow chart. So starting here, brainstorming your experience is, oops, they need me to log in again. All right, 1 second here. Let me stop sharing so I can do this. Let me jump back over and I will log back in and show you. Just a moment. There's always got to be some kind of technical hiccup, or it wouldn't be a webinar. All right. That should do it. Much better. I'm just going to close this out. Okay, and I'm back to sharing my screen. Try that again. Brainstorm my experience. Ta-da! I'm in. Okay. And again, there's going to be a video module introduction on the top here for everyone, and you drop down. These are where the other videos are. So you can click on whichever one is of interest to you, and it'll show you how long it is here. So brainstorming your experience, almost 9 minutes. Video, don't be tasky, be impactful. So this is about not listing just all this task-oriented information about your work experience. It's about really exploring every experience via this next one called the ethos method. And that anagram is, let's test myself. So ethos stands for experiences. So every work experience you've had, or also some that are non-work related. T, the tasks. H, how you completed them. O, outcomes, and S, skills developed. And so it'll help you kind of just ferret out that information about your experiences that can be really impactful on a resume. So that part's very helpful. The super resume is very helpful. This section is great if you are working on your LinkedIn page, because it's about writing a full document regardless of spatial restrictions about all your skills, all your work, everything. Writing powerful sentences is very helpful in developing strong resume content. So this is where it'll help you kind of quantify your resume and really, develop effective language in your resume. The resume coloring book gets its name from employers actually enjoying this kind of change, where they saw so many just black and white resumes, and they started liking these little colorful icons and things that were popping up on resumes. And so it kind of talks about how you can do that, and there's some examples. This part is less important to me because it's not content heavy. How you can customize and in a last section. So just a little look at the resume coloring book. It's a really great tool. Okay, close out of there, go back to the ASCC, and again, that's ascc.wsu.edu under the resume section. I wanted to show you the packets. They have moved, information packets, there they are. And so there's a resume packet that'll show you, it's kind of it's definitely a super boiled down version of the resume coloring book, but there are some format ideas, some ideas for writing strong resume content. There's a great example of a cover letter, and there's a job search and internship search packet. There's an interviewing packet and a grad school packet too. And lastly, I wanted to show you this helpful links section, which is buried and most people don't ever see, I feel like. Also on the drop-down menu here at ascc.wsu.edu, and the information packets are on the right side there. And there are just dozens of resources, so you can pick and choose what is relevant to you with where you're at in your own career development process. So great career resources for you to check out from a bunch of different topics. Internships, job searching for specific industries, like Idealist for nonprofit. Just a whole bunch of resources there. So another good thing to be aware of. I'll jump back over, and I believe we get back to sharing my files. And there we are, and that should bring us to the end. Got all that covered, check. So thank you so much for attending tonight. I will stick around for a little bit for any questions you might have. There's my contact information. And thanks again for joining. The next webinar that I will personally be doing will be a career assessment one. So it'll be kind of going over in more detail some of those sections of the Strong Interest Inventory. And if that is one that you're interested in doing for career exploration, you will take that free assessment before the webinar, and I will explore your specific results, assessment results during the webinar, and share more information about those types of assessments. So again, thank you, and I'll be around for questions. And yeah, thanks again.